Hello and welcome to episode 13 of Mission Apollo, the official Apollo Scooters podcast. I'm joined today by a familiar voice who you may recognize from our repair videos. Excuse me. Familiar voice from our repair videos and also his own ASMR channel. One of our leading technicians, Luke, is my guest today. How are you, Luke?
I'm pretty good, Sean. How are you? This is probably the first time most people see my face. Usually they see my hands and my gloves.
Yes, that soothing, relaxing voice. Now people can put the face to the voice as well.
There you
So we
go.
wanted to bring you on today to talk about the Apollo Tech Crew program, which some people may or may not be aware of, but it's an initiative that we've launched. I think starting last October is when we first started to come up with it and build it, and it's starting to come to fruition now. Can you give it like a quick summary to anyone who might not know what the program is, what the Tech Crew program is?
So yeah, I'll start with the general guidelines and then we can maybe go with the timeline of what happened and when it happened. So basically the Apollo Tech Crew is we're trying to build a network of certified Apollo technicians across North America, so the States and Canada, that can serve customers locally without having a long turnaround time on repairs. So we're trying to minimize the need for shipping scooters either back to Montreal or little teaser here to our new New York location.
Ooh, New York.
So this
Yeah.
is
So that. Yeah. Continue. Sorry. Go ahead.
so yeah, this is basically the general idea is to create a network of everyday people, our customers, some people who like to tinker on machines. Scooters are a little bit easier than cars, so that would give another avenue for people to monetize their pastimes.
Mm-hmm. And so, can anyone sign up to this program? Are we vetting people? What's the process like for accepting people into the program?
So the process right now, we're in the pilot program at this moment. So we have about a dozen technicians that signed up,
Oh, cool.
and we have vetted from the first interview. I think the total was about 40 people applied, and we cut it down to about a dozen now that are going to go. They're going to go to the second interview this week, and then that will produce the final number of technicians for the pilot program.
Hmm. And so there's also the issue, I guess, of training these people. So I'm assuming a lot of them have various backgrounds and experience in some form of mechanic work or engineering or something like that. And you've been working pretty hard in the last couple months over this course that they will all be taking. Is that right?
So yeah, basically we started by releasing the teaser video on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
asking people to onboard, and then we started producing the repair videos, which we're actually about at 60 videos right now, and we're still shooting some more, uh, continuing this week. So we're trying to build a really how would we put it? It would be a
Robust.
comprehensive,
Yeah.
robust, comprehensive program which offer the most amount of knowledge on the scooters without having actually to touch a scooter and take it apart to learn.
Mm-hmm. Although, yeah, hopefully a lot of these people, they have already touched the scooter, even one of our own. And I
Mm-hmm.
imagine a lot of them are even existing customers of ours. Is that right?
Most of the applicants have either a workshop at their house, so
Mm-hmm.
they're used to working with their hands. They have experience in mechanic, either they're car mechanic, bus mechanic, big rigs mechanics.
Oh, wow.
Maybe they work in with electronics, so they have experience there. We're not with the pilot program. We made sure to take people that had a lot of experience just to make sure we did it right. And then
Mm-hmm.
as we build out and learn from the initial process, we can get less experienced people and train them better.
Okay. Yeah, because I guess you can always train people. Like if they have some sort of capabilities, you can always train people to get familiar with it. And the training course, I think, is going to be a huge benefit because one of the pain points, I guess, of buying a scooter like from online, an e-commerce business, and then training people remotely is, the fact that you are remote. And as you said before, having to ship the scooters back to us in Montreal, we've had a couple repair centers across the country before, but I think being able to spread it out like this, and then ideally we're looking for someone in every city, right? That's going to really speed up the repair process.
Yeah, so the master plan is basically not having to ship scooters because we all know shipping scooters is the biggest risk of the biggest safety risk and the biggest risk of damaging the scooter because it's so
Mhm.
bulky and so heavy,
We all
and
know
often
couriers are
some
very delicate with them too.
very, very delicate. So we're trying to eliminate that risk. And obviously, the goal with the program is first scooter safety. So making
Mhm.
sure the scooters are as safe as possible. So when they're getting repaired, when people are riding them, the point is to reduce the risk of injury, basically.
Right. Okay. And then once this is all up and running, how is that service going to work? How will we connect customers with repair shops? Is there going to be any kind of feedback process or oversight to make sure that they're doing the repairs well?
So I'll go in details here. The service will be offered through the Apollo app, which is
Okay.
currently used for the Apollo Air, but will be rolled out with
Hmm.
some more scooters in the future. And with that app, you'll be able to see where a local tech is. You can book and drop off your scooter with the app. Communication will be through
Okay.
the app as well. And there will also be a two-way rating system, which will make sure we have the highest quality and the highest standard of repair techs in the network.
Oh, nice. And so I'm sure a lot of people will ask as well, what about for the ones who don't have a scooter that's compatible with the app? Say someone has the current Explorer or Ghost or something like that. Could they still use the app to book an appointment and find a technician in their area?
Yeah, of course. My comment was more so
Okay.
that the app isn't really functional with our older
Mm,
models at this point, but it will
right.
be very useful for booking repairs and
Okay.
I believe purchasing components and parts in the future as well.
Right. Yeah, that would definitely make it easier. So then, yeah, I guess they would, if they have an Air Pro or a future compatible model, I imagine it would make it easier to diagnose and provide all that information beforehand. But at least people who have one of our current models or an older generation, they'll still be able to book the appointment and get what they need.
Yeah, of course, and obviously there will be a filtering process to make sure we don't overload the technicians with
Mm,
complex repairs or repairs that could cause more delays for the customer. So it won't be, let's say, a if a repair has uh, not enough information to help the technician do the job, we'll have it shipped either to Montreal or the closest repair center to make sure the
mm,
job is done properly, and thus we reduce the risk of failed repairs or failed components.
okay. Yeah, because I imagine that's another concern or question from a lot of people is, what if they don't do a good job? And you kind of answer that there with the rating system, but there's always going to be different tiers of repairs almost, right? Like I imagine for maybe some of the more complicated warranty repairs would be still be sending the scooters to the network or more to a dedicated repair center.
So the way we built the initial setup for the repair program is most of the basic repairs. So
Okay.
tire and inner tube change, brake replacements, brake adjustments. We included LEDs in there. We have some fender replacement repairs videos. So most of
Hmm.
the simpler, more common repairs are going to be allocated to the technicians, the individual
Okay.
technicians on the repair network, and we'll keep the more complex repairs for our dedicated repair centers.
Right. Okay. So this will be kind of like a supporting network rather than taking away all the work that our technicians might do, or our partner technicians in New York, or wherever what other city they might be. This is kind of a support network. Is that right?
Yeah, of course. It's basically to reduce the workload of the repair centers, and
Mm-hmm.
it's
The
sort of
turnaround
balancing
times.
out. Yeah, it's balancing out the complexity of repairs is going to go up, but the amount of repairs is going to go down.
Mm, okay. Yeah, that
So the
makes a lot of
turnaround,
sense. Yeah.
the turnaround time on every repair would improve because more simple repairs would go to local technicians, which could get the repair done faster without shipping and uh, and repair turnaround times, like
Mm-hmm.
is happening right now, let's say. And
Yeah.
complex repairs would not have to wait as long in a repair center to get repaired.
I see. I see. Because yeah, that's one of the benefits of buying a regular bicycle over an e-scooter these days is you still have that network of bike shops, bike repair places that can fix pretty much any bike that comes through their doors. But it's a little bit harder finding someone who's willing to or trained and qualified to work an electric scooter. So having this, I think, is going to be a huge boost to that community.
So basically, my thought process, and I believe our CTO Elwa's thought process when putting this program on its feet, was to build a standard for e-scooters and the scooter industry,
Mm-hmm.
um, which isn't just good enough. It's not just good for the Apollo scooter riders, but for all scooter riders, because if we increase the baseline for safety and repair quality, we're also hopefully pushing for getting scooters officially legal
Oh
in North
yes, yeah,
America, because
yeah.
usually regulations go based off of safety. So if we can increase
Mm-hmm.
the level of safety of scooters, we can eventually um, make scooters more accessible and easier to ride for everyone.
That's a really good point and a really great idea. And yeah, we do see a lot of other brands, competitors out there who are simply just making, bigger, faster, better scooters, whatever. But we don't really see a whole lot of them expanding the network and the community that it takes to maintain these scooters. And I mean, there's a few like Fluid Free Ride. They have some repair shops around the country, but I don't think anything quite as integrated as this.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah, and even on another point, like most people are aware that we have such a very in-depth content library. Obviously, you do all the repair videos. That's for the public use, and it's also for the repair network use. But the unfortunate reality is a lot of people they buy a scooter that may not necessarily be comfortable working on their own scooter, or they don't have the tools to do so. So adding this adds another layer of access or accessibility for these people. Like you can either do the repair yourself at home if you're comfortable, send it to the network technician, or worst case, send it back to us. So it's like three, maybe even four different levels of accessibility.
Yeah, that's it. And basically, the program is building upon the consumer to consumer model. So
Mm-hmm.
it's making it easier, less expensive, and faster to get your scooter repaired.
Wow, that's cool. So how long does this training program last? I guess like how long is the course? What do they have to do it yearly? Is there an ongoing basis that they have to continue to be trained to stay up to date?
So right now, once the dozen technicians have gone through the initial program, they'll
Mm-hmm.
have to keep update. They'll have to keep up to date with further updates. So we're going to keep adding videos, more complex videos. Let's say controller changes, battery replacements. We already have LED replacements, but motor replacements, stuff like that. So we'll be adding and improving the repair program, and it will be needed that the techs keep up with those updates.
Very cool. And yeah, you touched on a point before earlier about legality of the scooters, and that's a big question that we get just in general, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with like the tech crew program, but uh, the more that we kind of saturate the market, I guess, and more people are aware and trained on them, it becomes a more safe mode of transportation. We've had a couple episodes of Mission Apollo, our podcast, and other content as well. We talk about legality, but it always comes down to a municipal level, and that's the tricky thing. And this is just kind of a general message to everyone watching and listening. Laws are not federal for the e-scooters; they're mostly municipal. So we always recommend that you check with your local city, your local police precinct, and find out what the rules and regulations are there. But we find in a lot of places it's a bit of a gray area. And hopefully, with this program, we can kind of educate people, train them on how this is a viable mode of transportation. It's safe, fun, easy to use. But of course, there are some dangers involved. We just want to try and mitigate that as much as possible. And I think this will go a long way in doing so.
Yeah, that's it. Often rules and regulations are based upon the consumer's safety. So if we can up the baseline for
Mm-hmm.
for the customer's safety, that's going to help a lot, I think.
Yeah. And so you said we have roughly a dozen or 14, I think, who are already part of the program, part of the pilot program. Are we still accepting applications? Is there a limit to how many people we want in?
Right now, we are accepting applications. It's going to be a bit of a delay because we want to make sure everything is right before we open the floodgates and
Mm,
let the majority of people join the program. Obviously, even if you're not looking to repair scooters on the side to create a second source of income for yourself, you can always enroll in the program just to learn more about the scooters and how to repair them.
oh, cool.
That's also a viable option, which should help people to repair their scooters at home if they're interested in that also.
Oh, cool. So yeah, I guess this would be using a lot of the content that we already have on our YouTube page, but there's probably some other videos that we don't have public, and these would at least be organized by scooter model. So they're a little bit more organized the way you go through it, and you kind of learn in depth as you go. Is that right?
That's it. So it's basically every chapter is every chapter is by repair type and then classified by scooter models. So
Okay.
if we look at it, there's the first chapter is brake replacements, or sorry, brake adjustments. Then we have chapter 2, which is brake replacements. Then we have tire and inner tube changes, which is
Mm,
probably the three most common repairs. So we put them up front.
yeah.
And after each chapter, there's also a quiz to make sure the most information is retained and the most
Mm,
important information is retained as well.
okay. So yeah, that's part of the testing process to make sure that people are qualified and know what they're doing. What's the passing grade? What's the minimum that you need to do to get your certificate?
So it might be a bit extreme, but we put it at 95%.
Ooh, wow.
So some people might have to do it a couple times to get it, but it's good to learn the information if you're going to be
Yeah.
working on people's scooters and their safety is in your hands.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a very good point. It does seem a little bit high. It's a very high bar, but I mean, that's part of the standards that we want to uphold and keep. And then I think another question that people will be asking too is payment structure. Are we able to divulge how that might work and like how people are going to get compensated for the work that they do?
Not yet. It's still being worked out, but I
Okay.
can say there is very little upfront costs,
Okay.
especially for people who are already established, have a workspace at home, already have
Mm,
some tools. We'll be
yeah.
providing a certain amount of tools just for the basic needs of scooter
Oh,
repairs,
cool.
but there's very little costs directly associated to enrolling in the course.
Right. Okay. And then compensation would be like commission, like per repair done and like a base salary or not determined yet.
It would be by repair done, obviously,
Okay.
but we haven't really worked out the
Flesh out the
details as of
details.
yet. So
Right. Okay. No problem.
I don't want to spoil anything.
$1 million per repair technician. Okay. That'd be nice. What was my other question here? Yeah, was there anything else that you think people should know about joining the course? Any kinds of information that you want to drop?
Well, I can go through the timeline if you want of how this actually came to be. I
Yeah,
know
yeah, that'd be great.
we talked a lot about how it works and what's the purpose
Mm-hmm.
behind it, but basically, I think you said in early October you guys started
That's what I
hearing about
remember.
it,
Yeah.
but Elwa started talking to me about it in late August.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of back and forth before we actually started producing content. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, he came to me with the idea of beginning recording videos. We already had videos on YouTube, but we wanted to make them more comprehensive and more detailed to
Mm-hmm.
educate the customers firstly, and the people who are gonna enroll in this program. Um, once the once we started recording the videos, we started building the quizzes and the website for this program. We are, like I said, currently at 60 videos, and we're going to be adding a lot more to make it as comprehensive as possible. So we're probably looking at doubling the amount of videos we currently have, because the amount of repairs you can do on a scooters are endless because you have
Yeah.
so many moving parts.
Yeah.
We could go literally to every single component being replaced, which might be a little much. It might be a little too much, but we'll see where we
Maybe after the
stop with the
start,
videos.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. And we're releasing new models too, so it's always going to be updating, and we need to keep people, updated on past models, even if we're not currently selling them either.
That's it. We omitted the light and the pro. We're just going to eat those repairs.
Mm,
We're going to keep sending them to our repair centers because it's not they're not as popular as our newer models,
yeah, we
and
don't have as many out there still.
the
Yeah.
parts and components are harder to come by as the newer models that we have. So
Mm,
we decided to omit them, but we do have the City, the Explorer, the Ghost, the Phantom, and the Air Base and Pro as of right now on the repair program.
okay. Yeah. I remember. Yeah, it's being talked about like last year, October. I guess it's been discussed even before then. I think originally we were planning to have this live a little bit sooner than now, right? But it's taken a little bit longer to get it properly ready for everyone.
Yeah, so initially the initial video count was 22 videos. We far surpassed that. So,
A little bit, just a little bit.
so it took a little bit more time to record everything we wanted to record to make it as comprehensive as possible to make sure
Yeah.
the technicians were well equipped for every single type of repair they're going to be facing,
Hmm.
um, uh, as well as the ones we're going to be adding. It'll probably be on a monthly basis. We'll require the technicians in the program to update or keep up to date with the new videos.
Okay. Cool. Um, and yeah, if I can touch on one thing you mentioned before, T is kind of a repair center in New York. Are you able to divulge anything about that?
I can actually.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm actually back in Montreal now. I was in New York last week setting up the new repair center. Um, it looks amazing. It's going to be a very great experience, a very good experience for people going to repair their scooters there or getting their scooters repaired there because
Hmm.
we're not going to get people to repair their own scooters. But
Nice.
the story behind it is people from New York, local New Yorkers might know NYC Electric Scooters and the
Hmm.
founder, Peter. We are
Yeah.
basically bringing Peter on the team at Apollo, and he's going to be the main point of contact and the manager of the Apollo NYC location, which is
Cool.
very reassuring for us in
Yes.
Montreal to have such a trusty ally in New York.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be very good. It's going to reduce turnaround times for sure
Hmm.
because the goal is to redirect all the United States repairs to New York as our main facility instead of shipping them
Okay.
to Montreal. So it's going to
Right.
reduce the cost for the customers as well.
Right. Up until we get that network going.
That's it. That's it. And that
Okay.
obviously the network is going to support the repair centers that we have.
Yeah.
We are talking about maybe opening some more, but
Hmm.
I can't speak about that yet.
Okay. Where in New York is the new warehouse or repair center located?
So it's in Ridgewood, which is
Ridgewood. Okay.
not it's not in Manhattan because we
Okay.
wanted a bigger space to keep more scooters, to be able to ship more scooters there, to have more
Right.
storage space. We'll be keeping some parts. Actually, we'll be keeping most parts there, so turnaround time should be reduced as well for scooters waiting for parts, which is a good. It's a very good thing.
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah. For anyone who's in New York, and I mean, even a lot of just other general American customers are probably pretty familiar with Peter. We've been relying on him, partnering with him for at least a couple of years. He was working, I think, out of his garage before, and everyone had really great reviews about him. His work is very thorough and detailed. And so we wanted to bring him on and make this like an official partnership and give him a whole warehouse to play in. And as some people know, he was accepting shipments before, but it became too much, and so we had to stop that. But now with the new facilities, he'll be able to accept those shipments again, right?
Yeah, that's it. And the reason why the New York City location is very important is because we're going to be testing out the system that we're going to be implementing for the tech crew. Not only the app, which is not officially rolling out yet, the service on the app for people to book their appointments, but we're also we're going to be releasing an app just for the technicians to track their work, reduce the complexity of scooter repairs. So it's going to be way easier to track and repair scooters that way. We're going to implement a calendar on the app as well. So technicians will know when customers are dropping off and picking up scooters, and that's all being tested in New York, which is a very important part of this whole process.
Excellent. Yeah, because New York is either our biggest market or our second biggest market, like right after Montreal. It's one of our biggest populations for where our customers ride.
Yeah, it's a very important location.
Yeah, I think this is going to do wonders. Yeah, this is very exciting. So you said it in Ridgewood, right? What borough is that? I'm not very familiar.
I believe it's in Queens.
Okay. Should be a good location, I think. Still, hopefully, still pretty accessible for everyone. Is it a big space? You were there, right? You saw it?
Yeah, I was there. We set it all up. It was quite the setup, but I actually have to say it's a better setup than we have in Montreal. It's very nice. Peter's making sure customers are going to be treated well there. There's a little lounge for customers to hang out.
Wow.
If the repair doesn't take too long, like a tire change or a brake change, something like that, customers can hang out. There's some couches and a TV,
a little massage.
We talked about massage tables, but it was a little bit much.
Yeah, then you start getting like the greasy hands on people, and yeah, it's not going to work very well, I think, that way. Well, this is all very cool. I think that's going to be pretty much it, unless there's something else you wanted to share.
This was a very short and sweet podcast. There's a lot of information we can't say or can't reveal yet, but the best is yet to come.
Awesome. Yeah, this is very exciting times, and this goes to show that we're not focused solely on the product, but also on the customer, and not just the pre-purchase, but the post-purchase process as well. We want to make sure it's a good experience, 360 experience for everybody, and we're working towards that. And honestly, we could not do it without our community, without our fans. It's really exciting to see how quickly this is growing. For anyone who's not watched our content yet, our repair program, repair videos, go watch them now. Luke's voice is very soothing, very relaxing. He's very in-depth as well. And if anyone else wants to sign up, we're going to have a link in the description box below. So if you want to be part of the tech program, or even just improve your own skills to work on your scooter by yourself, be sure to sign up below, and we'll be in touch from there. And thanks again for watching, guys. Ride safe.
I do have a couple things to say.
Oh, yes.
Just to close it out. So more info will be released as we roll out the service officially. We're hoping to launch it for the summer officially.
Okay.
And obviously the pilot program will be complete by then. And hopefully we have brought on a lot more individual technicians to support the summer rush that's going to come in 2022.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Well, thanks for joining me, Luke. I'll let you get back to your work.
Thank you.
And thanks again for watching, everyone. Ride safe.
Thanks, everyone.